9日やっていきます。recently じゃなくて、something but not じゃなくて、ここでもなくて、Turkey and COVID-19 strength in numbers. Istanbul, what Turkey got right about the pandemic in early March before what Turkey got right about the pandemic? Before the Turkey had formally registered its first case of COVID-19, Sada, a pro-government newspaper, praised the country for setting a leading example in the fight against the novel coronavirus. Some 160,000 confirmed cases later. The fanfare is rather quieter. Still, as the country emerges from lockdown, there is some cause for cheer. Turkey's government has a reputation for throttling dissent and picking fight with its European and American allies, but it has handled the pandemic better than many. Turkey has defined lockdown size of international airport. The latest of these opened on May 21st, boasting nearly 2,700 beds, about a sixth of them in intensive care unit. Some of the contracts were awarded to cronies, and the hospitals may end up bleeding cash, but the extra capacity has helped. The wave of COVID-19 infections never came close to overwhelming the health system, and medical supplies never ran out. Credit is due not just to Mr. Erdogan and his impressive health minister, Fahrettin Koca, but also to opposition mayors, especially in Istanbul and Ankara, who have raised funds and organized the distribution of masks. Mr. Erdogan muzzled the media, locks up critics, and flouts some of the basic norms of democracy. But there is another reason why he and his ruling AK party have not lost a general election in almost 2 decades, as even its crisis acknowledged. AK works hard and gets things done. If opposition parties were ever to take power, and whether Mr. Erdogan would allow such things is the biggest unspoken question in Turkish politics. They would have to prove they can just work just as hard. Slovenia, barbarians at the gates. The Prime Minister is hunting for enemies at home and abroad. Victory! Slovenia has conquered COVID-19, shuts the cover of magazine that backs Janet Jansa, the Prime Minister. On June 1st, June 1st、そうやんな。June July やもんな。June July の June 1st, American military jet helped the country to celebrate by streaking across the sky, while 3 propeller planes from Slovenia Air Force fluttered along too. Now is the time, says Mr. Jansa, meta posturing. Nervous union watchers think leftover coronavirus indicate a coming breakup. The pandemic came at a difficult time. The revolution was built when Labour ruled in London, Edinburgh, and Cardiff, and problems could be fixed with a phone call between colleagues. Today, relations are more fraught. The British government has ignored Scottish and Welsh protests over Brexit. The Northern Irish executive remains fragile. Mr. Johnson asserts the individual sovereignty of the Westminster Parliament, which sits uneasily with the claim of shared sovereignty in the developed nation, says Philip Lycroft, formerly the civil servant overseeing revolution. Yet, though much of Britain's response to the pandemic has been poor, the revolution has become less dysfunctional under the stress. The foundation has been able to adapt distinct policies which enjoy public support because they are backed by their elected leaders, but they have also drawn on the cash muscle and expertise of the British government. The result has been unexpectedly coherent. A joint action plan drawn up in early March looked like something you'd see more often in more major federal or multi-level system. Say Akash Pan of the Institute for Government, a think tank. The Coronavirus Act, which created emergency powers and was passed on March 25th, required deep collaboration with clauses tailored to each administration. One reason for this coherence is the new machinery of government. Revolution contains structural weakness. Most powers engaged in a crisis. National security Esther Gayon's administration in Edinburgh was no more alert to the looming risk than London. Outbreaks have hit care homes across Britain. It is not obvious why an independent Northern Ireland, Scotland, or Wales would have responded much better. Coronavirus is only one force pushing the Union together. Scotland has run its own welfare since 2018, which needs coordination with London. Brexit will bring new powers over fisheries and chemicals to Britain, which will require joint decision-making. Edinburgh and Cardiff want to give the JMC more clout. Andrew Dunlap, who has prepared a report of the future of the Union for the Johnson, says a charge of culture could make it a front-footed forum to deal with shared problem. But politics push the other way. The economic recovery will be more contentious than a medical emergency. The Treasury will effectively call the shots on when lockdowns end as it funds the far-left scheme. A plan to list far-left ちょっと調べよう。Far-left scheme. A plan to restrict the English students going to universities in other nations to mitigate a drop in foreign students doesn't look neighborly, and as Sturgeon hopes to use Scotland's election next year to secure a second independence vote. The new age of collaboration may survive the pandemic, but it will take political will. はい、今日はここまでにします。おやすみなさい。フラフ。こんばんは、マッキーです。7月10日ですね。じゃあ行きましょう。香港はミッシュウェルカム。ミッシュかな。明日ちょっと5時起きなので、ちょっと30分読めるかどうかわかんないですけど、ちょっととりあえず読みます。はい。Hong Kong and London. Britain opens its door to Hong Kongers, but it is unclear how wide. On Tuesday, Hong Kongers woke to an article by Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the South China Morning Post. It carried a threat to Beijing. If China imposes its national security law, tightening its grip on the city, Britain would change its immigration rules. British nationals overseas, a category created for those born in the British colony before it was returned to China in 1997, would gain additional rights, including one to work, which could place them on a route to citizenship. The Home Office has said the offer would extend not just to the 350,000 holders of the BNO passport, but to all 2.9 million who qualify for one. According to Mr. Johnson, this would amount to one of the biggest changes to our visa system in history. The offer was a bold gesture destined to upset China, whose foreign ministry fired off an angry memo. Pre-democracy Hong Kongers celebrated. Craig Choi, a lawyer and campaigner, says he drew comfort from the fact that we actually have the UK backing us up. Watching British lawmakers offer their support was very touching. Yet, local will not be packing their bags soon. For the kind was belay, and a lack of detail about exactly what is on offer. Britain is one of the few countries that makes a distinction between citizens and nationals. Thus, passports held by British nationals look identical to those belonging to citizens, but carry fewer benefits. BNOs can ask for support from British embassies, except in China. They can also visit Britain for 6 months without a visa. There is not much more on offer. BNOs have no automatic right to live, work or study in Britain. They are subject to immigration controls upon entering. Just like Indians or Nigerians, they must apply for work authorization as well as pay hefty fees and a health surcharge. For its part, Beijing considered those who also hold Hong Kong passport to be Chinese citizens only. Mr. Johnson's offer is to extend the period for which BNOs can come to Britain from 6 to 12 months and to give arrival the right to work. Yet it is unclear whether they would need a job offer, a sponsor, and to meet a minimum salaries threshold, as most migrants do, or if they would be able to arrive and look for work like UN citizens. EU in the Sun that his funny contempt and anger burned at a corporation that pocketed €4 billion a year from the Brexit voting. Three supporting nation who they laughed. Tom Slater of Speak, an internet magazine that is close to the outrageous spirit of modern conservatives, complain about a metropolitan media class that has become so self-important that it is built to its own biases, confused about the difference between opinion and fact, and increasingly hysterical when it doesn't get its way. A new book on conservatives, Ed West's Small Man on the Wrong Side of History, gives a good sense of this state of mind. Mr. West tells the story of how he became conservative curious as a youngこの段落だけ読もうか。They have also become figure fun peoples. Mr. West predicts that his pattern of defeat will intensify as his peers take an already leftish establishment further to the left. Conservatives will become like the practitioners of the old Catholic faith in Protestant England. Marginalized people living in remote provinces, while the future of the country is fortunate in liberal interports. はい。インターポーツ。今日はここまで。食べ過ぎた。おやすみなさい。はい、こんばんは。7月11日、一文だけ読みたいと思います。This might sound a bit far-fetched that light has proved of two big victories in recent years. The Brexit referendum in 2016 and the general election of 2019. はい、では今日ここまで。明日読みます。おつです。はい、どうもバッキーです。1月12日見ていきたいと思います。 This might sound a bit far-fetched. The right has pulled off two big victories in recent years: the Brexit referendum in 2016 and the general election of 2019. Social innovations such as gay marriage might well be classified as the extension of the conservative institution of marriage to a once marginalized population, yet there is enough truth in the argument to give it some bite. The Conservative Party is increasingly winning votes from lower social classes. Since the early 2010s, it has enjoyed consistently stronger support among the lower middle and working classes than among the higher ones. It is also losing support from the administrative and even corporate establishment. Look at the balance of power from the perspective of Antonio Gramsci, an Italian Marxist who argued that what matters is control of the culture rather than parliamentary majorities, and conservatives are clearly on the wrong side of history. A poll in 2019 by Times Higher Education found that 54% of university employees plan to vote Labour, 23% Liberal Democrat, and only 7% Conservative. Just 2 percentage points above the Greens. In 1964, 35% of academics voted Conservative. When the Result Institute at the University of Oxford conducted a survey of journalists in 2016, just 23% said they were right of the center. Life is too short to be little. This turn to be victimhood makes one yearn for the old Tory party, where the greatest virtue was to make people laugh and the greatest sin to appear honest. But it may nevertheless be a significant electoral asset in a world in which everybody has an 58% of people thought COVID-19 was being deliberately spread. A clip of a film called Pandemic, which claims that a shadowy elite started the outbreak for profit, was uploaded on May 4th. Within a week, it had been seen 8 million times, and its star, Judy Mikovits, had topped Amazon's bestseller list. Social media enable people to share true news as well as the fake stuff, but the favorites seem to be winning. A study published in Nature in May found that although pro-vaccine Facebook users outnumber anti-vaccine ones, the anti-vacciners are better at forging links with non-aligned groups like school parents associations, so their number is growing faster. Among Americans, exposure to social media is associated with greater likelihood of believing that the government created the bias, or that officials exaggerate its seriousness. According to a recent paper in the Harvard Kennedy School, broadcasters in many countries need a license and must convince regulators that they try to report the news truthfully. Huge such constraints apply to the internet. In April, Britain's broadcasting watchdog Ofcom long been conservative target. Rush Limbaugh, an American talk show host, speaks of the four corners of the set: the media, scientists, academia, and the government. Such language is echoed by European populists of the right. celebrated leaders of the FVD declared last year that we are being destroyed by the people who should protect us and undermined by our universities, by our journalists. He has set up a hotline to report left-wing academics and scoff at the Dutch public broadcaster obediently nods for the powers that be. もう何言ってるか分からん。In France, Mr. Le Pen claims that the government has been the biggest provider of fake news since the start of this COVID crisis, and the Brexiters have questioned the impartiality of journalists, academics, and civil servants. Their attitude summed up. The government has been the biggest provider of fake news since the start of this COVID. And Brexiters have questioned the impartiality of journalists, academics, and civil servants. Their attitude summed up by then Justice Secretary Michael Gove's remark that people have had enough of experts from organizations with acronyms saying that they know what is best and getting it consistently wrong. British conservatives have less faith than others in most of the media, as well as in international institutions. In April, an opinion poll found they were twice as likely as Labour voters to mistrust Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the head of the WHO. Elite bashing is hardly unique to conservative Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, Mexico's populist left-wing president, continually lays into the media. So did Labour's former leader. Conservative voters seem to be more prone to the infodemic, and while conservative leaders have more reason and more likely to undermine reliable sources. For one thing, conservatives complain that the elites are not on their side have become more plausible とかなんかプランジとかもなプラッジとかなんかいろいろ出てますよね。わからんから眠たくなってきた。In many countries, the old left-right political divide based on economies has been replaced by a liberal conservative split based on culture. This largely pit liberal graduate against conservative school leavers and elites, whether in the media, the civil service, science, or academia, are donated by graduates. This doesn't necessarily make them partial, but when Brexiters complain, the civil service is a nest of reminders. Well, Republican grow that America's universities are stuffed with liberals. They are right. わからん。眠い。眠たいからもうここまで。眠いっすわ。何言ってんのかわからん。